Hey there Sunday friends, it's coming up to Easter and we are switching things up. Instead of your usual rosemary and garlic lamb leg, this is a budget-friendly lamb shoulder curried one-pot wonder. We all know that lamb can be expensive, so we're using this cheaper cut, we're slow cooking it, and we are filling it of the most amazing, rich, spicy, warm flavors. This lamb shoulder is melt in your mouth fragrant, and it's something different for your Easter table. So if that sounds like something you'd like to learn about, then stick around. You won't want to miss out on how to make this one. Curried lamb. I mean, maybe it doesn't inherently shout Easter, but my God, I promise you, it's delicious. Down in the caption box are the timestamps, so if you want to fast forward to the cooking process, the time is there. Hop to it. If you want the exact ingredients, head to my website. Again, in the description box down below. Super simple, super easy. But I know that some people don't really like reading, so this is a visual of that recipe. So first up, we are using lamb shoulder. I got this from the supermarket, bone out. It cost me, this was $19. So we're in New Zealand. In the UK, that's about £11, or in fact no, £9. So not very expensive. This will quite happily feed 4 people, maybe even 6, if you made a few little extra things to go with it. But if you're just having it with rice, definitely 4 people, if not a little bit more. This thing is so full of flavour, it's so easy to do. You do it in one pot, it goes in the oven, see you later. Simple as. So let's get the little bit of prep done that we need to start this delicious lamb dinner. What I like to do first is get my spice blend ready, because then once we're cooking and everything else is prepped, this can just go straight in without having to take out little bits of each one, and you know, you might catch it or burn it at that point. So let's get the blend ready before we start cooking. So we need 2 bowls, one for the dry and one for the whole. So in the whole, I'm going to put 1 star anise. I've got here 1 black cardamom. If you didn't have black cardamom, just use green, maybe use 2. I quite like this, a little bit smoky. I've got 2 dried chilies. If you had fresh chilies, you could chop them up and put them in when you add your onions and your garlic, but I do not, so they're going in here. I've got half a teaspoon of fennel seeds, 1 generous teaspoon of cumin, and then finally 1/4 teaspoon of mustard seeds. Black or yellow, either one, doesn't matter. And finally, half a teaspoon of coriander seeds. So that's all the whole spices. And now for the ground. I've got 1 teaspoon of turmeric, 1 teaspoon of Kashmiri chili powder. If you didn't have Kashmiri chili powder, just regular will be fine. You could even probably use like a smoked paprika, might be quite nice. 1 good teaspoon of garam masala. And the last little bit of the box. I also forgot, I am going to use a little bit of what they call meat masala. I mean, it's just another kind of spice blend. This one has in it chili, coriander, turmeric, garlic, black pepper, cardamom. So all the things that we're already putting in there, it's just a little extra little backup of them spices. So I put in 1 teaspoon of this, and then 1 whole teaspoon of cumin. And that is all your dry spices done. Blend them together, and that's it. If you didn't have the meat masala, not the end of the world. You could just maybe add a little bit of curry powder or even extra garam masala. Like I said, all the flavors in that are here anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. So now these items, I'm actually going to sit over by the stove so that they're ready to go when we need them. I'm going to open the can of tomatoes, and then we need half of the can of the coconut milk. So it's about 150 to 200 mils of the coconut, and I would definitely use cream, not milk, because you do want a bit of that thickness. So I'm just going to tip half of it into here and pop that in the fridge, and then the other half is ready to go for when we need it. So they can go to the stove too. Then we just need to prep our onions and our garlic. This couldn't be simpler. I'm going to slice them, and the garlic I'm going to puree. With the garlic, a useful little tip, if you put some salt on the edge like that, you can use it as an abrasive to puree your garlic. Work your knife, applying pressure, and there you have pureed garlic. And then for the onions, I'm just going to take the root end off like that on each onion, and then slice finely. And get ready to see some tears. You would think after 20 plus years of doing this professionally, my eyes would no longer cry, but apparently that's not the way. And voila, done. That can all go together with the garlic. I'm surprised the tears are currently not so bad. Amazing. That can join the other stuff. And then finally, the lamb shoulder. All we need to do to this is generously season it. And turn it over, and the same on the other side. And that's it. Take that over and your tomato puree, and then we'll talk about the pot. As you can see, super fast, 5 minutes prep. It's going to take us a few minutes put together, and then it's going into the oven. So that's why I want to talk to you about the pot, because here I'm using a cast iron. This can go into the oven, no problem. But if you don't have one of these, alternative ways to do it. Sear it off in just a regular pan, do the exact same process, and then add it all to a roasting tray. Cover it up with some tin foil so that there are no gaps. You can even do 2 strips down one side, bring it together in the middle and pleat it so that none of that steam can escape. You want it to be as sealed as it possibly can. Also remember, lots of your pans out there can't go in the oven. But ideally, this is the way to do it, because we want to bake it / roast it / steam it in the oven so all them juices can fall back in, create a lovely sauce, and we only have to use one pan. This, after all, is quick and easy Easter, not lots of dishes, very complicated, hard to do. One pot wonders are just absolutely fantastic. Not only easy, but good for the washing up. So let's head to the stove and get this thing together. So when we cook this dish, we want to start it on a low to medium heat. We're going to seal the lamb on the fat side first so it can create a little bit of extra juice in the bottom of the pan, a little bit of extra fat, to then be able to turn it over and seal it on the other side. You want to get a good bit of colour, because colour, as I always say, is flavour. So make sure it's nicely coloured all the way around, and then remove it from the pan. Make sure that it's not too hot, like I said, because now we need to go in with the onions. We're going to add them, and if it feels like it's starting to get perhaps a little bit dark in there, or it's like maybe getting close to turn into dark brown where then it easily can become burnt, add just a tiny bit of water to deglaze that bottom. It's going to help soften up these onions, cook them down, and just make it really great. I'm also going to add a tiny touch of salt just to soften them onions up a little bit quicker. Then once they're all nice sort of golden brown and slightly soft, we're going to add in the whole spices. The whole spices go in. We want to cook them for like a minute in that lovely oil and all that loveliness from the lamb and the onion. Give it all a good toast, and then in goes the garlic and all of the ground spices. Mix that all together, and then add in your tin of tomatoes. And we're also going to add to this about 500 mils of water. As you can see here, right at the end, I'd forgotten to add the tomato puree. So add that in when you add in your dry spices, and cook it out for a minute or two before you add your liquids. And then once you've added your liquid, bring it up to the boil, sit your meat back in, let it just come back up to the boil again, pop the lid on, and into the oven it goes for 2.5 hours at 170, or until it's cooked. Might be 2.5, might be 3, depending on how fat your piece of meat is. But you want it to be tender and just utterly delectable. So in it goes, and we'll have a look at you in a bit, mate. See ya. So 2.5 hours have passed, and this smells incredible. I cannot wait to get into it. Oh my God, look at this. Oh my God, the meat just falls apart. The sauce, unctuous and delicious. We should give it a little taste. I cannot get over the smell of it. It just smells amazing. Oh, that is honestly sensational. It's a little bit spicy, it's tomatoey, it's aromatic, The lamb has infused the flavor. Oh my God, honestly, this thing. So we just need to do the last little bit to this, and then we can serve it up. So I'm gently gonna remove this lamb if it doesn't all completely break up. And it's going on the plate. Oh my God, look at this. For a budget-friendly meal, whoever you make this for on Easter will think that it costs a fortune. You don't always need crazy expensive cuts. This is a shoulder with loads of delicious fat and flavor and just incredibleness. If that's even a word, I'm not sure it is. But honestly, this will just create the most incredible centerpiece for your Easter. So now the other last thing that we need to do is add our coconut cream. So here's the sauce, and I'm just gonna add that wonderful coconut cream. 150 mils. Oh. Stir it together. And we have got the most amazing curry sauce. Look at that. Oh. Oh. Honestly, so good. I mean, so good. This is incredible. I mean, okay. We should probably serve it up. You also need to taste it once you've added the coconut milk, just in case you need to add any extra seasoning. Remember, you did heavily season the lamb before you seared it, so in theory there should be enough salt, but sometimes you just need to add a little extra. But this is top notch and ready to go. So let's plate this up and tuck into this friggin' insane lamb meal. Finish it off with a little bit of chopped coriander and serve it up to your mates. For this incredible lamb feast, I'm serving it up with some spiced turmeric and cinnamon rice and a runner bean curry that's got tamarind, curry leaves and onion seeds in it. If you want either of these recipes, head to our website. The link is in the description box down below. Everything's plated up, so let's tuck into this lamb and give it, oh my God, look at it. It just literally, I barely touched it with my fork there. Jesus, this is honestly insane. I mean, it just splits apart, no resistance. Oh my God, honestly. Oh my God. You know, I always strive to make absolutely delicious recipes. Sometimes you come across some things and you think, that sounds delicious. Let's see what we can do. Can we improve it? And oh my God, this thing is insane. That meat, oh my God, so insanely soft. The other things that I've made to go with it, these green beans, I mean, I know they look a bit haggard, but oh my God, you know, you have to cook them in their spices with that tamarind, and it means that they're a little bit sharp, a little bit tangy, which just absolutely blends so well with this creamy, delicious lamb. And then with some of that rice. Oh my God. I mean, there is not much more to be said. If you've enjoyed this recipe, give me a like and a subscribe. Let me know in the comments section if you decide to make this thing for Easter, because I'm telling you now, scrap the garlic rosemary, get this bloody thing on the table. People coming for dinner, or your family, whoever it may be, will be like, holy moly, never had an Easter meal like this. It is honestly to die for. This thing is just freaking insane. The sauce is delicious. Oh my God, that meat is just incredible. For a one-pot wonder that all you gotta do is very minimal prep, put it in the pan and put it in the oven. Honestly, nothing like it. Now, I've got to get away from this because it's not quite dinner time and Brownie's still at work, so I've got to put it away and try and not eat anymore, but my God, all I want to do is eat it up. It's absolutely incredible. I will see you guys next week for another Easter treat when I've probably put on about 10 pounds from eating this. I will see you later. Catch you soon. Happy Sunday. Bye.